Hello the Matrix, welcome to Educate. Let us talk about blood groups in genetics and inheritance. You often hear, especially when you want to donate a kidney, that you need to find someone with a matching blood group. I'm sure you haven't donated a kidney as of yet, but you might need to at some point. So we have got four main blood group types. We have got four main blood group types. We have got blood group type A, we have got blood type B, we have got blood type AB, as well as blood type O. So it can be blood group or blood type, it is still implying the same thing. So these are the four main blood group types that we all have. Even if we can be trillions of people in the world, but all of us has to have at least one of these four main blood group types. So now for us to have these blood group types, their genotype is actually defined by a certain allele. So basically, these blood groups are controlled by three alleles, which is a I to the power of A, this one, this is I to the power of B, and then this is small letter I. So these are the three alleles that control the blood groups. So for us to have these blood groups, some of these three alleles have to play a role in defining the genotype of each and every blood groups there. So basically we say that these two are dominant alleles. For blood groups, we have got two dominant alleles, which is I to the power of A and I to the power of B. By the way, this A and B just tells you the blood group type. So if you have got A on top, you know that this is blood type A. And then if you have got B on top, you know that this is associated with blood type B in some case. And then you have got this small letter I here. This small letter I is a recessive allele. So this small letter I is a recessive allele. So now with that being said, let us look at the possible genotypes for each and every blood group type. So the genotypes for the blood groups here, let's first look here at blood group A. For us to say that someone has got a blood group A, their genotype can be I to the power of A and I to the power of A. So this genotype indicates to us that this is blood group A. As I've already said, that once you see this as this exponent letter here, this letter on top of I, if it is A, it means that it is associated with blood type A at some point. So this condition is actually homozygous dominant. So remember that when you say that the condition is homozygous, just means that we've got the same type of allele. In this case, we have got two dominant alleles, which is I to the power of A and I to the power of A. Both of them are dominant alleles. Or we can still get blood type A in the heterozygous condition, whereby we have got I to the power of A and we have got small letter I. Remember, we've said that small letter I is a recessive allele, so it is marked, it is not shown in the physical characteristic. In this case, both these genotypes, they indicate blood group A. So blood group A can have one of these genotype. It can be either homozygous or heterozygous. When you say it is heterozygous, it just means that we've got one dominant allele, one recessive allele. But this is still defining blood type A because there is this allele that has got an exponent of A on it. So this tells us that this is associated with blood type A. So it depends on which case you have. It's either you've got a homozygous or a heterozygous case, but all of them, they symbolize blood type A. Similarly, for blood type B, we're going to have capital letter I with a B on top and another capital letter I with a B on top. So we'll have these two alleles in the homozygous conditions. Remember, we've said that once you see the capital letter B on top of an I, it means that this blood type is associated with B. This allele is associated with blood type B. So in this case, if it's a homozygous condition, we have got I with a B on top and we've got another I with a B on top. Both of these are dominant alleles, right? Or we can have I with a B on top and we can have small letter I. Okay, so these are both conditions. They are representing blood type A, blood type B. Okay, so basically we can say here that the first one here, it is the homozygous condition. Remember, I explained what is homozygous and heterozygous in my previous videos. Check the link in the comments. So basically, the heterozygous condition, the homozygous condition, we have got 2 dominant alleles for the blood type B. So the heterozygous condition would have 1 allele which has got a B on top, this one, and will have a small letter I. Remember, the small letter I is recessive, so it is masked or it is not shown in the physical characteristic. So it is just suppressed, but still the blood type here will be B, will be blood type B or blood group B. So this is the heterozygous condition for B. This is the homozygous condition. Both of them, their phenotype is blood type B, but their genotypes are different. One is homozygous, meaning that we've got the same type of allele, dominant, and another one is heterozygous. We've got a dominant and a recessive allele. Then for AB, for blood type AB, we've got a mixture. So basically for AB, we have got this allele with a capital letter A on top, and we have got this allele with a capital letter B on top. This is certainly a heterozygous in a sense, because here you have got A and you've got B. Both of them are actually dominant. Remember, I've got 3 main types of dominances. In this case, we have got both dominant. Both of them, they want to be dominant. So their relationship here, or the type of dominance in blood type AB, it is codominance. Make sure that you check out my video on the type of dominances, but it is codominance. So basically, blood type AB, it is actually a combination of blood type A and blood type B. Okay, in the heterozygous condition, it's a combination of blood type A and blood type B. So that's why we say it is AB. So that's a form of codominance, because all of these blood types are going to be shown in the phenotype. It's a combination. It's actually a combination. Both of them are going to be shown in the phenotype. That is why our blood group, it is AB. There is an A and a B. So that's a form of codominance. Link in the comments as well, or on how dominances work. Then the last blood type that we've got blood type O. Remember, there are 4 of them. It's A, it's B, it's AB, and it's O. So for blood type O, we have got 2 recessive alleles. So we can only have blood type O if we have got a homozygous recessive condition. That is, we have got this recessive allele, small letter I, repeated twice. So if our genotype has got small letter I and small letter I, this will be what? This will be a blood type O. That is the only possible blood type genotype. That is the only possible genotype for blood type O. So whenever you are told that you've got blood type O, it must be in a homozygous recessive condition. That is, it must have 2 recessive alleles. It must have 2 small letter I's. We don't expect to find an A or a B. So that's a basic introduction to blood groups. Now you can use a genetic cross to determine the blood groups. The question says, a man with a blood group AB and a woman who is heterozygous for blood group B. So look at this. We have a man that has got a blood group AB. Remember, we can just predict the genotype for this man to say that since we've got blood group AB, AB has got only 1 genotype possible. So it must have what? It must have 1 with an A on top, it must have I with an A on top, and it must have I with a B on top. That will be the genotype for the blood group AB. And then for a female, they say that she is heterozygous. When you say that she is heterozygous, it just means that there is a dominant and a recessive allele there. Okay, so in this case, she is heterozygous for blood group B. Remember, blood group B in the heterozygous condition has got the following genotype. It has got I with a B on top and a small letter I. So we can just say this will be I with a B on top, I with a B on top, and a small letter I. So this is still blood group B, but it is in a heterozygous condition. And then now they are planning to have babies. They are planning to make children. So now, how many alleles control the inheritance of blood groups? That's question 1. How many alleles did we say they control the inheritance? We've said that we've got 3 alleles that control the inheritance of blood groups. We have got 4 types of blood groups, but we've got only 3 alleles that are controlling them. If they say mention the alleles, we have got I with an A on top, we've got I with a B on top, as well as small letter I. These are the only alleles that are involved in controlling the blood groups. Okay, all the blood groups must have at least 2 of these. B says describe the type of dominance that occurs in the inheritance of blood group B in the woman. What is the type of dominance that occurs in the inheritance of blood group B in the woman? So basically, for this woman to have this this genotype I, B, and small letter I, they want you to describe what type of dominance is that for her to end up having that that genotype. So for her to end up having this, it means that she must have inherited one allele from the mother, one allele from the father. So basically, this allele, this allele must be coming maybe from the father, we don't know, and this one maybe is coming from the mother, because basically for you to have a genotype, you inherit that from your parents. So now this type of dominance is actually complete dominance. So this is complete dominance. Why do we say that it is complete dominance? Because the question says describe the type of dominance. You don't have only to mention it. Why do we say that this is complete dominance? It is because we have got one allele that is completely dominant over the other in the heterozygous condition. That's what Mendel's second law of dominance states. Here, for us to have complete dominance, we must have one dominant allele. This one is a dominant allele, as we've already said in the previous slide, that this is a dominant allele. This is a dominant allele. So we must have one dominant allele and we must have one recessive allele. So the dominant allele will be the one that shows up in the phenotype, and then the recessive one will not show up in the phenotype. So that's a form of complete dominance. So when they say describe, you have to explain that to say that this dominant allele IB, it is the one that is showing in the phenotype, resulting in the woman having the blood group B. Okay, so the I, it is actually maxed. You must explain that as well. So I'm not going to write that. So now C says use a genetic cross to show all the possible genotypes and phenotypes of their children. So now this woman and the men, they are now planning to have babies. Okay, the process is fine, but basically they are planning to have babies. So since they are planning to have babies, we need to use a genetic cross to be able to do what? To determine all the possible genotypes and phenotypes for their children. We start, remember, for a genetic cross, we start with P1 and we write phenotype. We write the phenotypes of the parent because P1 represents parent generation. So in this case, the parents, starting with the man has got blood group AB. So this is a man with blood group AB. That's our physical characteristic in this case, which is the blood group. Then we are crossing with a female. You have to say that this is a male with blood group AB. You are crossing this with a female with blood group B. So the female's blood group is just B. You are crossing them, and then now you mention or you state their genotype. You write their genotype. So the genotype for the men with a blood group AB, it is only one possibility. Whenever you have got blood group AB, you only have got one possibility in the heterozygous condition. That is this possibility here. So the genotype here will have to be I with a capital letter A, I with a capital letter B. We are crossing this with a female with blood group B. So the blood group for the female, it is B. But then she is heterozygous, so it means that it must be I with a B on top and then small letter I. She is heterozygous, one is dominant, one is recessive. And then after the genotype, what follows? There will be meiosis in each of them. And meiosis will lead to the formation of gametes. Okay, so when we form the gametes, basically what's going to happen here, these alleles are going to separate because they are found on chromosomes. So IA, IB shows that these two have separated. then we are crossing this with IB, we are crossing this with IB, comma, small letter I. And then now, what happens after we've got the gametes? Basically, the gametes are the sex cells. So this must be a sperm cell from the male. This must be another possible sperm cell from the male. And then on the side of the female, this must be a possible ovum for the female. And then this must be another possible ovum for the female. So basically here, what will happen if we've got gametes? They will fertilize. So here, the next thing that will happen is fertilization. All of this is marks. Okay, if you don't write all of these points, you're going to lose marks. You're going to lose 2 marks at least. So now during fertilization, it can happen that this sperm cell will fertilize this ovum. So the combination that we're going to get there will be I with an A on top and I with a B on top. That will be the possibility that we can get for our F1 generation of our offspring. Remember, the whole process of fertilization, its purpose is to bring babies. So basically here, once you write fertilization, it means that whatever we're going to find underneath, it will be the results from babies. Okay, in a sense like that. So here, what will happen? This first sperm cell can choose to fertilize the second ovum. And we're going to get I with a capital letter A as well as I. You're just combining the 2 alleles. Or we can choose to take this second sperm cell fertilizing this first ovum. This will be I with a capital letter B on top, as well as I with a capital letter B on top. You realize that here we've got I with a capital letter B. Also here we've got the same thing. And then now the last combination that we can have here is the second sperm cell fertilizing the last ovum on the female side. This is I with a capital letter B, and then this is I, small letter I. So these are the possible genotypes. So these are the possible things when these people do the deed. So one of these can happen. It's something that happens randomly. You cannot predict which one will happen, but these are the possibilities of the blood groups of the offspring of the F1 generation. So now here, let's interpret the phenotype. This is blood group A. Do you realize that this is blood group AB? I mean, so we have got one blood group AB. There's no other blood group AB there. So here we've got one possibility out of 4 of getting a blood type AB. So there is one possibility. And then the second one here, interpreting this, you can see that this is a heterozygous for blood group A, because here we've got capital letter A and then we've got small letter I. So this is heterozygous for blood group B, for blood group A. So we can have one blood type A. We have got one possibility of blood type A. And then interpreting the third genotype, this is BB. You can see that here we've got 2 in this one, this third one, we have got IB. So this is the third possibility that we can have. And that is a homozygous for blood type B. But here you can see that we've got 2 possibilities for blood type B. Even this one, it is also blood type B as well. Because remember, this is blood type B in the heterozygous condition. This is blood type B in the homozygous condition. Remember, our table here shows us that blood type B can be achieved using this combination or this combination. So in this case, we can say that we've got 2 possibilities of blood type B. So here there are 2 possibilities of blood type B. So here we've interpreted all of them. So if you were to write them in terms of percentages, you would say that we have got 1 out of 4 of blood type AB as well as blood type A. So this is times 100. This will give you 25%. So you've got a 25% chance of getting offspring with AB or offspring with A. And you have got 2 out of 4 times 100 chances, which is 50% chances of getting the blood group B. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends to stay tuned.